The poorest country in the world is a term for a country that is considered to have the lowest wealth or welfare compared to other countries. The economy in every country in the world is very different. Generally, the wealth and welfare of a country is measured based on its gross domestic product or GDP per capita. Before continuing, it's a good idea to first click the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to get the latest content updates from this channel. Currently, most of the countries with the lowest GDP per capita come from the African continent, which is actually rich in natural minerals. Many things make these countries receive the status of the poorest country in the world. Starting from prolonged conflicts, climate problems, disease outbreaks, to corrupt governments and so on. These are the 10 poorest countries in the world. Niger. Niger is the largest country in West Africa. However, most of the country is covered by the Sahara Desert, so the area for farming and living for its citizens is not much. Niger is also a country that has no coast and is surrounded by land. If you look at the per capita income, which is only $536, it's no wonder that Niger is the 10th poorest country in the world. Although Niger has a large area of the country, most of it is just desert. This has resulted in the agricultural sector in Niger becoming less reliable. In fact, this is also getting worse with the absence of territorial waters in this country that can be used as resources. Niger is also one of the countries with low rainfall, so even the 20% of the country that is not covered by the Sahara Desert often experiences prolonged drought. Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is a small country located in West Africa. This country is the poorest country in the world at number 9 with a per capita income of $518. Currently, nearly half of Sierra Leone's population lives below the poverty line. Actually, Sierra Leone has abundant natural resources. Diamonds are one of them. But civil war from 1991 to 2002 destroyed its economy. This war is over the highly lucrative diamond industry in Sierra Leone. This war destroyed nearly half of Sierra Leone, leaving many homes and towns destroyed, either by burning or by bombing. Currently, half of the population is below the poverty line. The superior generation moved to other countries and the majority of the remaining young generation could not finish high school. Madagascar. In 8th place is Madagascar, which is one of the poorest countries in the world. Madagascar is not a country filled with happy animals like you see in the film Penguin Madagascar, but mostly inhabited by poor people with a per capita income of only $515. This country located on the African continent actually has sufficient natural resources, especially in the agricultural sector, which is known as a tea, cotton and rice producing country. It's just that due to the bad management of the government coupled with a number of political conflicts that occurred there, as a result the natural potential of this country cannot be maximized properly, and resulted in the income of most of the population is low. Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a country known as the poorest country on the Asian continent. Afghanistan is currently the 7th poorest country in the world. Afghanistan is experiencing an economic downturn and it is difficult to get back up. The main reason why Afghanistan is difficult to rise is because this country has been hit by a prolonged war for decades. It is not surprising that Afghanistan is the lowest in terms of individual freedom and the 3rd worst in terms of governance. This country lacks infrastructure that can provide assistance to the people. People in Afghanistan find it difficult to get access to clean water, which is a very important resource. Thus, the people in Afghanistan are suffering greatly. Afghanistan's per capita income is only around $499. Central African Republic. Country is rich in gold, uranium and diamond resources. The Central African Republic is a very rich country, but is inhabited by a majority of people who are quite poor. Even so, this country of 4.7 million people has started to show signs of progress. Now, this country is ranked as the 6th poorest country in the world. This country has a per capita income of only $480. In fact, the Central African Republic is very rich in diamond natural resources. It's just that due to the large number of uncontrolled illegal mining activities, rampant corruption, to the inability of the government to control its people, this country can only watch other parties extract wealth from the bowels of the earth. Democratic Republic of the Congo. Despite being the second largest country in Africa, the Republic of the Congo is also one of the poorest countries in the world with a per capita income of $457. Since gaining independence from Belgium in 1960, the Democratic Republic of the Congo has been characterized by dictatorship, political instability and violence. Now, this country is ready to start from scratch and build the welfare of the country. Currently, more than 60% of the population of the Democratic Republic of Congo live on less than $2 per day. In addition, years of war and violence have left many of its people malnourished. However, the Democratic Republic of the Congo is a very resource-rich country. With more than 80 million hectares of fertile land and various natural resources beneath its surface, this country actually has the potential to become one of the richest countries in Africa. Mozambique. In fact, Mozambique has experienced smooth economic growth in the last decade. But profits are not used effectively to reduce poverty, especially in rural areas where poverty rates are very high. Mozambique is a country on the African continent with Maputo as its capital. Just like several other African countries, Mozambique also has problems in the field of basic infrastructure, such as limited access to clean water. Even so, actually the main cause of poverty in Mozambique is not a lack of infrastructure, but because of the high corruption practices there. In fact, it was so high that Mozambique was also included in the list of the most corrupt countries in the world. Per capita income of Mozambique is $455. Mozambique is also a bustling port and a fast-trading country in Africa. However, like the Central African Republic and the Congo, this country's economy is hampered by political and security conflicts due to civil war. Malawi. Malawi is a remote country in the middle of the African continent. Also has the status of one of the smallest countries on the African continent. In recent years, Malawi has made progress in increasing economic growth and implementing important structural reforms. In 2000, Malawi faced difficult conditions because the IMF assistance was stopped. Joyce Banda, the president at that time, sold several presidential assets to finance the development and improvement of the agricultural sector. Currently, Malawi has again received assistance from the IMF and the World Bank. GDP continues to grow slowly, supported by a stable and democratic government, as well as substantial financial support from the IMF and World Bank. Despite this, poverty is still widespread. The country's economy, which depends on rain-fed agriculture, is often disrupted due to weather problems. This causes the economic disparity between urban and rural areas to get worse. The country's per capita income is $399. South Sudan. South Sudan is the newest country in the world. It only became independent in July 2011. This new country is also one of the poorest countries in the world, with a per capita income of only $303. If we calculate using face value, then this is very bad. But fortunately, the price of goods in the country is cheap enough so that South Sudan's per capita income is not too bad. The infrastructure of this Sudanese fractional state is very bad, even one of the worst in the world. This, as we already know, has a negative impact on a country's economic development, and can lead to poverty. In fact, according to the UNDP, 80% of Sudanese live on less than $1 a day. Burundi. Burundi is a small country located in the Great Lakes region of Africa. This landlocked country is the poorest country in the world with a per capita income of only $264. The majority of the population depend on subsistence farming in the area around the Great Lakes to survive. Food scarcity is still a major problem. The level of food insecurity in Burundi is almost twice as high as the average for countries in sub-Saharan Africa. Burundi has a dark history filled with social conflicts, civil wars and ethnic wars. These problems have always hindered the country's economic and social development. According to IMF data, more than 80% of Burundians live below the poverty line. Lack of infrastructure, rampant corruption and security problems are the main factors causing conditions of extreme poverty in this country. For this reason, Burundi is the poorest country in the world. Those are the 10 poorest countries in the world. Hopefully in the future these countries can further develop to be even better in various sectors, and hopefully the poverty rate will decrease. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next video.